welcome to all the good men and the ladies in the chat, all the ladies in the house. 5-year anniversary, actually, a couple days ago. But 2019, I started making videos at the tail end of the summer. And all my whole desire was to literally share my experience and help others. And if my story could help, then I feel like I contributed back from what those that helped me, kind of pay it forward type thing. But let's shout out David Castro, Mouth, Megatron gets it right again. I put the hard road because it's a great song. It is a hard road that we are on. It's not an easy road. Results oriented, Hennick, Outlaw, good to see Outlaw. He's been going live a lot. Appreciate all you guys. Bookshelf, D-Man, Sigma, Beer and Friends, good to see you. But what have I learned and what have I let go? That is the key. What have I learned and what have I let go? Before I do that, I've been home all day. I wouldn't call it under the weather, but I've been a little fatigued. I'm on my it's a 32-hour mark right now for my fast, and I'm feeling pretty good. Just a little tired. Just took some electrolytes, but let's knock an hour or so out and see what we go from there. Timmy Kramer, the Forever Bachelor, good to see you. Don't get married, Timmy, 58, Uncle Don telling him not to get married. Nick Vincent from the UK, 5 years of helping. Every single one of you that have been in this chat it helps immensely, not only to the cause, but also the advice you give to other guys that have come through. We've seen lots of guys come through here, multiple guys having challenges, having issues, and respect to everybody in the chat. Everybody contributes. T-Talks, your mark in the community is duly noted. Thank you, brother. T-Talk, a lot of you guys have been around for a long time. JR, good to see you. What's Mega say? Letting go sets you free. Thanks, Hennick, for being here. He's probably somewhere Eastern Europe. Mysterio from Winnipeg is in the house. Good to see you. So, it's when I was going through my situation, there's a couple videos where I share my story. You go through that anger part or rage, you go through that fog, so to speak. Who am I now? Where am I going? Where have I come from? What is life going to be? And I think people realize sooner or later you begin to let go. I'm a very difficult person when it comes to let go. Letting go of things, letting go of grudges. Not with friends, but, more importantly, the ex, that it took me a long time. And it doesn't bother me anymore. It is what it is. And I think that what I've realized once and for all, number one, I realized my divorce was actually a wonderful blessing. Not for my kids, I want to keep the kids out of it, but for me becoming and being who I was. So it's weird to think about it, but it truly was a gift in a lot of ways. It wasn't what I expected in my life, but it was a gift for me to figure out who I was again and to be that person. Most men in this world are just existing, especially those that are in marriages that are not great marriages, that have tried everything to make peace, quiet, and freedom with their wives and so forth. So they're struggling. Every man you see out there, I'd say 98% are in just difficult situations. T-Talks, we've all had our asses kicked in one way or another. I salute all of you men for persevering. And you too as well, T-Talks. He's got an interesting story as well. Physically, emotionally, mentally, and, obviously through divorce. So when we hear of studies that married men live longer than single, what are we supposed to do with that? Well, I think that study is this. This is my personal thoughts on the single men thing. Single men that are lonely and depressed die quicker than married men. Married men are not alone physically. They might be mentally and emotionally alone. But I think that contributes to single men that have no purpose, that have no lens to see life through, right? So you start looking at things and you start looking at not only is the red pill, that 20% of the red pill is relationships. which feeds into the government sector, understanding government, understanding religion, understanding the financial aspect of this world that we live in, getting a job, keeping a job, being indebted, and finally, education. 5 facets in RAD's world about. So I've learned not, when I first started, it was all relationship based. And slowly but surely, as your eyes begin to open more and more, and your brain begins to start making connections, you start seeing the red pill in everything. From the day we're born, for the day we go to school, to the day we graduate school, to we get our baptism in religion, or we start going to Sunday school, or we start going through, start learning about American history, and then we start learning that Columbus wasn't the guy that everybody said he was, or whatever, and you start seeing things from a very different perspective, which opens your mind up. And I think that, if anything, is the superpower to life. Then you can make decisions based on what you truly feel inside, not what society and programming's told you. Gone Fishing, good to see you, brother. Glad you're in the chat. Bad guy for life. It's better to struggle, suffer to learn in life. F the easy life. Well said. That's another thing. I have learned that difficult situations are difficult, and I've had my share of difficulty and upsetness, and you name it. Somehow I've been able to get through it. The easy life makes men turn into women in a lot of ways. The hard life, and they've done all these studies, the hard life rewires your body to achieve that much greater. Think about in the last, let's say prior to 1960, how much the man toiled in the fields, what he invented to improve life. Significant, right? What have we done in the last 20 years? Used our phones and internet and everything. For the most part, a lot of us have gotten idle and lazy. A lot of men, a lot of young men don't have testosterone because life is easy. They don't have to get out of bed anymore. Interacting with you men gives me a lot of juice. Well said, brother. I think that is quite a theme of our chat and other chats. I am John. Good to see you, brother. Hope you are well. Don't trust anyone. Stay stone cold. Another thing, that's a great segue, Mega. Trust. You begin to understand that trust is extremely valuable. I don't trust many people. I don't really know if I trust my 2 boys at this point. I mean, I give them leashes, but I think they're boys. They were boys. They're young men now, so they're more trusting now than they were as boys. But I was a 19-year-old and a 23 at one point. Nick says if men knew how quickly their widows move on after their widow moves on, it would shock you. Oh, absolutely. They get married quick, don't they, Nick? Carl says, greetings, Rad. Congrats. Thanks, brother. Time flies. But death waits on no man. Got to get my expat plan in action. Carl's been around for a while, too. All of you guys have been around for quite some time. Like-minded men gives us even more juice. What else have I learned? Learn to let go of the bullshit. And I think letting go is a process. I don't think you just can just let go of everything. You literally have to start retraining your mind about the foundational awareness of life. That, hey, wanting to get married, have kids, and have a white picket fence and raise your grandkids was something that we all believed in, or most of us have believed in at one point. We realized that life takes different journeys. Storms come. There's some storms we can't escape from. So acceptance of all of that is key. We have to accept where life takes us. And a lot of people can't take that. I mean, at first, when I first went through it, it was difficult to accept my situation. Very difficult. That is the greatest thing I have learned in this whole piece of manosphere, the creators I listen to. Yeah, I learned about, John says, the older I get, the less I trust people. Sure. You start learning that the only way to move forward is to accept where you're at today. That's it. That took me a long time to learn. And, I've been on this journey for 9 years. So if I've even beginning, it was talking about female nature, hypergamy, Duluth model, divorce court, all that crap. And you start to begin to accept that women are just women. There's nothing we can do to change that. We have to accept ourselves for being men. What is the best video I've ever made, Beer and Friends? I made a video. I'm trying to get it from our buddy Sack. It was me ranting in a car about. It was a 9-minute video. I gotta find it. I'll upload it and I'll write best video I ever made. Wife material. Most women today are raised to work in a brothel. What is wife material? It's like a relic of the past, right, Timmy? With what's going on in the world and recognizing the U.S. is the best country in the world, how does it shape you in leaving when it may be a one-way trip? That's a great question, Carl. Thought about that. Maybe that's why my house isn't selling. November 6th is going to be a very interesting day. I know I've thought about that multiple times. I think a neutral country would be good, but you never know. I mean, you never know. Can you get back in once you go out? I still think that I'm going to go down to Mexico, be able to cross the border, but you never know what countries are going to go nuts here on November 6th. Trust can only be dispensed in very select dosages. Well said, T-Tox. Accepting your freedom isn't always easy. Sounds crazy, but it's reality. You're absolutely right. A man that doesn't accept his reality is going to live in a fantasy world. He's the guy that believes that he can fix his ex cheating on him. He can fix her boredom. We accept. It's as simple as saying, I accept that she divorced me. I accept that my kids don't talk to me. I accept that I lost my job. And once you accept it and halfway believe that, your mind, from a psychological perspective, will go to great lengths now to fill your life full of other opportunities. That took me a long time to learn. I learned it from a guy that's a psychologist. The longer you don't accept it, your mind's going to keep spinning that circle, keep trying to fix what's unfixable. My father couldn't add me to his Amazon account for fear I'd charge his account for purchases. That's when I succinctly knew how he viewed me and his children. Interesting. It's a badge of honor to be called weird, strange, odd, following the crowd is lame and delusional. Well said, brother. I've never been a conformist in a lot of different ways. That might have been part of my challenges. I was never a conformist to the ex. You know? Saw the Thunderbirds in McMinnville on Saturday. Cool, brother. McMinnville, I bought a car out there. Bought a 1969 Porsche in 2004 from a guy that had a bunch of them. Couldn't drive it. I drove it back to Beaverton area or Bethany. The damn thing. They're hard to drive. They're a beautiful car. Why women are so quickly bored nowadays? Because they used to be more serious. Sure. Well, I think technology and ease of life have also bored them. Megatron says part of the MGTOW ethos is minimalism. Get rid of useless shit when you can. Well said, brother. Shout out to WHO346. I mean, that's reality. And that's another thing. I was always minimalistic in a lot of different ways, but now it's even more. Minimalizing from a house. Potential, if I don't need a vehicle, potentially do something with that. Living out of I find traveling, experienced life, living out of an 80-liter backpack or a 50-liter backpack, couple changes, as long as you're not going anywhere cold, but, couple shirts, couple shorts and flip-flops and everything, you can have a great life. I've done it before, and I think that's the key. John, she lives in Beaverton. Attaboy. I went to Beaverton High School. WHO, instant gratification. That's another thing that's made men weak. Well said. Nick says, men's mass awakening has happened. That's our MMA. Seraphin, good to see you, brother. Appreciate that. That's exactly why your wife filed for divorce. You were no longer willing to put up with what she wanted, and that was best. Yeah, if I became what she wanted, I'd still be married, but I'd be dead. Emotionally, mentally, and probably almost physically. You die inside when you quit being yourself. Good to see Steven in Arizona, brother. I just saw your email you sent me. I'll have to check it out. I'm in the process of moving. I always shed stuff. Moving is the wonderful thing when you start shedding that skin of belongings. I focused on what was best for your family and not just for. Well, we always say this, Carl. Men sacrifice for themselves and or for their kids and their family. Women sacrifice their kids and their family for themselves. We accept it. What if I let go? I'm letting go of control. You know, we can't control people. We can't even control our kids. We have to learn how to let control. Alan Watts, which I know Dak and a lot of folks like Alan Watts, but Alan Watts says in one of his videos, he died in 1971. He's an interesting story. He said to gain control is to give up control. I never really understood that for several years, but I understand it now. To give up control is when you gain control. Another thing with society, customization, everything is customizable. Look at Subway sandwich. It was cheap and good before they added all the other toppings. Yeah, I do like me a Subway sandwich every now and again. If men are going to get married, they have to look at marriage like a career. How will it better their lives? Well said, Mysterio. Marriage is a career. And how many times do we change our jobs within a career? We just don't want to change our wives. One and done. Men sacrifice for the future, women sacrifice for the now. And that is human nature. That's female nature. That's male nature. We have to accept that. We need a gathering of us men. Hell yeah, Timmy. Biggest thing I learned, I don't know very much. That's another thing. They say the wiser man realizes later in life he doesn't know much. Well said, WHO. The key to all this is to never get that she's never yours and she's always lining up the next guy. Yeah, she's not yours. It's just, if I would have known that, would I have believed it? I would have known that. I would have believed it now. But 1995 was a different world. Make yourself a po' boy. Po' boy for 300 Trebek. Gonna buy a van and move from the slavery, big house, and modern toxic world and live a simple life. It's simplicity. That is true wealth. True wealth. That is literally giving up control to gain control. You are fully in control when nothing controls you. So do you think it's who men will marry versus the status of marriage that changes the couple and they stay? I just think, Mysterio, that familiarity breeds complacency. And complacency always leads to a city called contempt. It's very difficult to maintain relationships, especially as you get older. It's gotten to the stage when if where you don't give her what she thinks she wants, it'll be over soon. Who wants to live like that? Well, yeah, it's that constant pressure. Am I doing everything? Am I giving everything to her? That's going to make sense. He sure did. He was very Buddhist. He liked the Tao Ching. But I like a lot of the things he said, you know. It makes sense. We try as men to control the outcomes, especially when we sacrifice for our families. Oh, big world. I saw that comment earlier today. I think being angry, when letting your anger run your conversations and your mental state wherever you go, is a feminine trait. Being upset and frustrated and a slight sense of anger is okay, but it's where it leads you. I should have clarified that. Does that make sense? If we stay in an angry state all day, it leads us to bitterness, which is a feminine trait. That's my belief. I'm fasting. I'm on my 32nd hour. I'm going 48, maybe a little more, but it's probably looking like 48. The Gottman say that contempt is the 4 horsemen. I know John Gottman. How does Mysterio know John Gottman? I tried to get my ex into the Gottman course. He had contempt, criticism, what else? There's 4 of them. Way to go, Mysterio. John Gottman bought the course, too. I think us men would accept the modern shit show better if the law reflected that reality. Her leaving you is not a big deal if she doesn't take half your stuff. Sometimes I wish I was in South Korea when she filed for divorce, because then she wouldn't get anything, or the kids. Letting your emotions control you is feminine, correct? That's what I meant, big world. When the anger controls your emotions, which controls you. I mean, The most detrimental mistakes that men can do is follow their emotions. Understanding your emotions and learning how to detach or to let go of them is the key. It's when they lead you. Well said. Anger breeds hate. Hate takes you to the dark side. Correct. That's another thing. What else did I learn? Love and hate are the same. Just different ends of the frequency. It's indifference, which is the opposite of what we call love, which is just basically labels of chemicals, labels on a pill bottle. Plato said, a man's happiness comes from the achievement of one realized capabilities. Difficult transition when retiring early, especially for a man. How does one balance? Well, that's a great question. I think one's got to stay purposeful. I mean, I've got a list of things I want to do. I want to read some of the classics, some Tolstoy stuff. I want to read, some Hemingway. I want to read some Steinbeck, and some maybe some old stuff. El Cid. I read that back in college, but some good works of art that are very difficult to get through. That's one thing I want to give back. If I'm in Mexico, I want to teach for free people to learn English twice a week. Stay busy. I want to learn the culture. If I'm there, I might take 6 months and travel, what have you, but I'll do what I need to do to stay busy. It's if I go there and play on the internet all day, yeah, life's going to get really boring really quick. Gone with John, good to see you, brother. I think you're going live in an hour or so. John's loading up all of his videos. He's taking all the profanity out, all the bad words. Retired to the Philippines or Thailand, so many doing it. I would choose, Nick, Thailand over Philippines. Maybe visit Philippines, but Thailand for sure. Don't forget the most important reads, Rad. Elmo goes to the zoo. The guy that was with Elmo, he went Skittles. I think he died of AIDS. People don't hate on losers. They just hate on winners because they're envious. Yeah. It's easier to be negative these days. Ghost Pirate, happy 5 years of saving men and promoting. Glad you are here, brother. Glad everybody's here. Teach foreign honeys on how to load a rich gringo. I mean, it's being involved. I mean, I'd like to get into fishing. Maybe I'll go and part owner with someone that's has a fishing boat. I don't know. But I'll figure out something. I'll still make videos a couple times a week. Just be in a different region of the world. I wonder what age range tends to marry the most. When I was in my 20s, never thought about, 25, 30 years ago, it was in the early 20s. Now I think it's later in the 20s. 28, 29. So it's increasing. My favorite guitarist of all time is Jimmy Page. I love Jimmy Page. What's that song from Beastie Boys? Da-na-na, Jimmy Page. What's it? It's like, is that on Ryman and Stealing? Jimmy Page. I can't remember how it goes, that song. The Beastie Boys. Someone get those lyrics. Gone with John, how are you doing? John is doing good. He's pressure washing. Man, pressure washing is dope, but holding it with your wrist all day, I don't know how you got to take a break. But I do like a nice pressure wash driveway. I used to do that in Oregon because we had so much damn rain. Every year I had to do the gutters, make them all look new. But yeah, John sees the fruits of his labors when he's done. It's like painting a crappy house and seeing the end result. Yes, I do. I would like to do that as well. I'll probably spend a little time, 6 months, a year, maybe more. And then I'm going to come back a couple times a year and travel. So I need some sort of vehicle. I've looked at vans. There's specific Sprinter types. I've looked at just living in my 4Runner. A lot of guys are living in that can do that. Just all depends. But absolutely. I like those Mexican gals. They're beautiful and friendly. I am John. The girls I like are underage. And Jimmy Page. That's it. No sleep till Brooklyn. That's right. Tennessee Riverside Blues, the most blues laden Led Zeppelin. I love me Zeppelin. I got into Zeppelin because I had a girlfriend when I was 10 in 10th grade, and she was a senior. Her name was Rhonda, and she loved Zeppelin. And Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You was our song. She was the first one that ghosted me. I didn't even know what it was. She just left after graduation, didn't hear from her for 6 months. Man, my heart was hurt, I'll tell you that. Get out and see the U.S. at a younger age so you can enjoy it. You will once your kids are older. The mini school bus is interesting. You know, they call them schoolies. I just don't think they're stealth enough for me. You know, even hauling like a little bean trailer or one of those trailers in the back that holds a queen bed and like a stove. I don't even want to haul anything. I want to be all encapsulated. I do. I have a little. I like Ship of Fools by Robert Plant. I've got 2 of his solo stuff. I think he did great. And Jimmy Page went with David from Whitesnake, David Coverdale, and they did Coverdale and Page because he sounds like Zeppelin too. Whitesnakes. I was at the pool with a 45-year-old lady who told everyone how great her life was and how successful she was at work. I simply asked, "Where's your husband?" She got pissed. Good for you. It's just a simple question. Help me, Rhonda. Yeah, she was a great. I should put a picture of her up. I remember about 7 years ago when MGTOW Solution went van life. Love that guy. I think I remember him, T-Tox. The U.S. military needs good, strong men. Visit your local arm to speak with a recruiter. We do need good, strong men, big world. We have a lot of pussies. Zeppelin is awesome, but nothing compares to taking a committed dose of psychedelics and listening to Pink Floyd's Money. John needs a wrench. No, I got too many wrenches. John's our VIP. Schoolies stand out. Yeah, they do, and it's just the maintenance on those things. No thanks. Too much room. What's Nick say? Not sure how long free van life going to last. Classifying vacational camping and residential. They want proper. Yeah, you gotta stay on Bureau of Land Management and be stealth. That's the key about it. You want to be stealth. When the Levee Breaks is one of my favorite Zeppelin songs. Good for you. That's right. Coworkers aren't your friend. Truth. Greta Van Fleet. They sound pretty good. But he skittles that front singer now, apparently. Ship of Fools was done originally by the Grateful Dead. Jerry Garcia for 300 Trebek. Seen 2 marriage proposals on the beach in the last 3 days. Some men are born to be a slave. Curiosity, man. That's another thing I've learned. Curiosity will get men in trouble quicker than you can say, hello. Curiosity says, she's not like that. She's not like the others. I'm going to try marriage again. I'm just curious. I can make it all work. I got all this red pill knowledge. Curiosity has its place in pleasure, but it also has its place in doom. Manuel, good to see you. Saludos. Can't remember where you're from, Manuel. Tell me otra vez. Drink from MGTOW Solution is a great intro for men. Dirk. Oh, Dirk. Yes. Achilles' Last Stand. You know what? There was one. What's the Led Zeppelin album with Presence? Is it Presence that apparently was their like not great album? I think it's great. They got great. Every Led Zeppelin song. Every 6 months I'll go through Led Zeppelin, Doors, Pink Floyd, maybe a little Cream, maybe throw in some Hendrix, and go back to my high school days. Never got into Jerry Garcia that much. Like a couple songs. They had the Dancing Bears, but you know. I can see a modified self-storage offering parking spots to vehicle camp. Yeah, you can stay at the Cabela's and Cracker Barrel and Walmart. I see them all the time. I got a Cabela's just literally 2 blocks away. Now and Zen. That's the CD I got. Thank you, Unsound Methods. Joan Jett, open for him. Awesome. Now and Zen. I think that was 88 or 89 that came out. Radical Rafter in the house. Good to see you. Whole Lot of Love. That's a great song too. I mean, great music back then. Now, here's the deal. You might not like this, but I accept and appreciate Black Sabbath, but I don't really like them that much. I don't know. I mean, I will listen to their music, but I like other bands better. It's weird. War Pigs is a good song. A couple others. I love the genealogy of Black Sabbath, but man, I just never. I liked Ozzy better. It was my age. Led Zeppelin 4 was great. It's JR likes Sabbath then. Thin Lizzy. I like Thin Lizzy, Deep Purple. My local pub is a great wing special on Tuesdays. My lab loves going there. It just doesn't want it because of the fat, entitled women who think they've got a shot. We should start taking stealth videos. Bill's in the house. You're my favorite Red Pill YouTuber. You're making me blush now. Nick Vincent, Frank Zappa was good in his day. Dweezil Zappa. What was the other one? Moon Unit. Get a genetic 2,500 panel van and put all dirt gone with John pressure washing. Yeah, John's got a truck, but getting a van, I think that would be dope. Yeah, basically it's going stealth. It's the best thing you can do is go stealth. Get some window coverings. Don't have a lot. If I have I've been looking on the marketplace, seeing some vans, seeing what they're going for. Some are really good, built out, but huge miles, especially on a Dodge. So I don't know if you need a new engine or a transmission at that point. But if I guess if I could get it cheap and have it rehauled, it's like a brand new one. I'd rather have some other dude lay it down in Chinatown. I feel that way about Kiss and tons of other bands of that era. Food great songs, but never went crazy. Yeah, I saw Kiss. I got free tickets to Kiss. I like a few of their songs, but yeah, probably 10 songs by Kiss. But yeah, I don't think I own one record by them. Dick's Sporting Goods, a few hours from me, but they got a lot of green-haired mutants that look like they never picked up the fishing pole. There's a lot of kids these days. What else have we learned in this red pill journey? Outside of the normal female nature, hypergamy, she's not yours, it's just your turn. Minimalism. Living below your means. Knowing that I don't seek happiness anymore. Happiness is a derivative and joy of peace, quiet, and freedom. That's what you seek. I'd rather be peace, have peace and quiet than 100% in this happy state all day. Because that's it's difficult to maintain. So seek peace, quiet, and freedom, and all those other wonderful things we feel in our gut will come to pass. Dodges age like redheads or banana pudding in the sun. Banana pudding in the sun for 300 Trebek. I am John likes. I like Zepp since I've been loving you. Working 7 to 11 is kind of a drag. I also think that Robert Plant, I think he's pretty humble. I think Page, I think John Paul Jones is quite humble. You know, when they brought back Jason Bonham to do the drums, and everybody thought Led Zeppelin would reunite. They only did it one time. Remember, everybody was watching that concert during COVID. I think it was like a couple years before that. It was a great concert. Jason Bonham, I saw Bonham when he had his band back in. They opened up for the Cult, 88 and 89. I thought that was a great band too. Thank you, sir, Brandon Trueblood. Appreciate it. Hope you are well. Brandon Trueblood, he's living van life. He's been living in his semi for 2 years. 2 years this month. You got to go on tour with the GD, but that was back in the 90s when I did. If they were still around, it wouldn't be the same. Yeah, what about Fish? That seems to be the new Grateful Dead when people following them now. Led Zeppelin had to play their instruments a whole step down on their reunion show to save Robert Plant. No, yeah, that's no surprise, X-Mass. Good to see you. A lot of artists will do that. They can't hit the high notes. Kind of blew off the yoga instructor for the past 2 to 3 weeks, and she asked if I wanted to go on a weekend trip. The weekend trip for 300, Stephen. We've learned a lot. There's a lot of men on the same page now. Go back 10 years and men didn't talk like they do. And that's another thing we've learned. A lot of these channels have come and gone. Stevie Ray Vaughan, very good, Seraphim. A lot of these channels have come and gone. Thanks, BJ. And I feel like there's a cohesive knit, like just a niche group of guys that, you know, and every now and again, more and more are added to the group, and we grow organically in a way that is authentic. What did you learn? Oh, you have to go back and listen. I learned a lot. The biggest thing I learned is to accept life, accept my situation, accept everything. What I've let go is control, or learning to let go of a lot of control. That's probably the biggest too. If you ask most people anything, they almost all have the exact same opinions on almost everything. If you have a different opinion, they treat you like a heretic. Well said, Will Murphy. Thanks for being here, brother. To become an individual, it's all hive mind now. Even the Skittles are hive mind. They're no different. They all look and talk the same. They're Skittles. All their hair color, they got fishing tackle in their nose. They have the same tattoos with a little wine glass and a little Tinkerbell. You're no different. Steven never liked the Grateful Dead. I like a couple songs. That's about it. Whiskey Path is gone. Yep. Question. When the vast majority of the folks around you are simple NPCs, including work friends, how do you avoid challenging it? I pick my conversations carefully, Carl. Mr. Hemmy's here. I've got friends that are so blue-pilled that it's difficult to have conversations with them, right? I threw a bunch of good stuff in the garbage this morning, attempting to be a minimalist, but went and recovered a few hours later. Just do it one at a time. One at a time, I am John. RAD, I learned I learned a lot of things, especially my eyeglasses, my spectacles from Brandon Trueblood. JR, you're absolutely right. There's hardly, and when I grew up skateboarding, I'll give an example. There was only about 30 to 40 pros, and every pro is different. Every pro had his own style, his own trick, his own arsenal. And now I look at the same tricks. Now they're incredible. Trust me, the combinations and the varials and things. But I feel like all of the tricks are the same. All the competitions are the same. All right, you need to do a McTwist, then a 720, then a kickflip varial, then an Indy kickflip revert. It's all the same. Whereas everybody skated different when I grew up. So that definitely makes sense. My blues guys of yore was Gary Moore. Gary Moore, not too shabby. Polska's in the house. Good to see you, brother. Polska's been around for a while, too. I'm glad they never wore nose rings, hair, and have multiple tattoos. It's a warning to stay clear. There was one gal, a girl in high school, that had she had a nose ring, like a little one of those cool rings. And she was sexist, very hippie, back in 1988. She's like the original. Steven says nothing new, everything is a copy of the past, but these days the copies are even lame and half-ass. Well said, brother. What's the difference between me being single and me being married? Being married takes a lot of work. You put yourself on the back burner. Versus being single, you put yourself on the front burner. Females do go with the hive mind. Gosh, I was going to say something else. Josh Harris in the house. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here. But you learn that you are important, and every man that's in here is important, that will listen, that is listening, or has listened to these channels. Hopefully we keep men on the straight and narrow by not falling into the quicksand, by not giving into their curiosity. Curiosity was what got me married. Sam Fisher, good to see you, brother. Nick says, you are your only patient. Yeah, what else have I learned? The guy that stares back at me in the mirror is the only guy that I need validation from. Exactly what Nick says. There's a guy in Pescadero, Jose. He's really a skateboarder, and they have a great place to skateboard. Down in Cabo, there's a skate ramp or a cement skate pipe in Todos Santos, too. Slam, good to see you. I stopped in Pescadero. It's a cool little area, too. One thing I will say, we can no longer judge a book by its cover. Watching street interviews of Trump versus harass and tatted up Kool-Aid girls are saying Trump. I'm seeing a lot more of that. Don't listen to the media. That's all I'll say. Carl's going to be moving too. He's going to move into Asia though. I remember even when I was in high school, being blank was called out and challenged. Oh yeah. We played a game called Smear the Blank. Being married is like being single, but paying for two. There you go. Jaja, RAD, been with you since 2019. I remember. Good to see you. Manasseh, congrats on half a decade. We're going to keep going. David Castro, Super Nintendo is my great childhood good time. Oh, I love seeing. How about Duck Hunt? Remember with the blue guns? Were they blue guns or gray guns? I can't remember. With the orange trigger. Those are the days. What else have I learned? Well, I'm 52, so I probably got a good 30 years left. I want to make those as significant in my life as possible. And you should too. Smear the blank. Yeah, I don't want to say that. You never know. Sam Fisher got it right. If I had started YouTube in 2012 when I saw the RP, I'd have, at this point, 3,000 viewers. There you go. You probably have more than that. First time I heard about MGTOW was in 2010. Guy came to this concert at my house. Oh, what the hell was his name? He had a weird name. Nice guy, though. He just got divorced. And he said, you look into MGTOW. Now, 6 years later, I got divorced. 5.5. And I remember Chadwick, his name was Chadwick Cunningham. And he said, if Chadwick's ever listening, I doubt it, he's probably way past this now, but that was 14 years ago. He said, MGTOW. What the hell is that? First time I heard it. May of 2010. Didn't want me to type. I'm starting to see the light now. Well, you know what? It's all right. I know you had a girlfriend. You just have to be careful. Buy cat and dog food stock to the moon. What else have we learned? We learned that women, it's men and women are different. Women brains are different than men's brains. I learned that you can't fix anyone. And especially you can't fix stupid. You can only fix yourself. That's it. You can't even fix your kids. JR, you're absolutely right. It is universal. Timmy says, I've never walked into a jewelry store to buy a diamond. A dead piece of coal. We were bamboozled. That's another thing. We learned that diamonds are complete society programming. And now you can get one made in a box. A machine. I did. I watched some kind of monster. My buddy went to Metallica in Seattle last weekend. Or they played 2 nights. Huge stadium. It's too big for me. I can't go to these 60,000. I'm like 1,000 or less. I don't like big venues where you have to watch on the TV. I'd rather just sit home and watch it on the screen. I like to get up front and close. And rest in peace to Jack Russell from Great White, who died, 2 weeks ago? So I remember going up and seeing him up front and fist bumping him when he's playing House of Broken Love, which is a total RP song. Plenty of men warned me before getting married, but of course at the time I thought they had no idea what they were talking about because she's different. She cheated, and I am divorced. You know what else I learned? None of us are special. We've all been through the same things. Very similar things. Your story, it's great that you're not special because we can now come here and chat with a collective experience. I kept the former Miss Elbags fed, clothed, housed, and healthy. I foolishly expected her to appreciate that. Oh, I've been in those shoes, T-Talk. Slam, Terrence Bob was my first RP experience. Yeah, I remember first seeing Terrence. I thought he was goofy, and then I started listening to him. He was great. Love is just chemicals trying to hijack your brain. Well said, Radical Rafter. Just labels we give to certain combinations of chemicals. I saw Metallica JR on Kill 'Em All Ride the lightning tour. Haven't seen him since. A backstage party with Metallica and Ted Nugent at Whiplash. Attaboy. Big World, yeah, I would say buying gold and silver. Have a little bit. Don't put a ton in, maybe 20% or less. Love heavy metal, says Mayor of Bodybuilding. Good to see you. Teen in the 80s. 80s metal, man, is the best. I was just listening to Slayer this morning, Show Me Mercy, or Show No Mercy. Women's brains are concerned with maximum extraction of resources. Truth. Jaja says everyone gets their ticket punched in this world. Ain't that the truth? What a slogan right there. Appreciate that, brother. Refault's law, very insightful. Yes, it's true. See, most men won't understand that, Brandon. They won't believe it because their curiosity is going to say, it won't affect me. I got red pill knowledge. Well, how many guys are going back to the plantation who are red pill creators? Curiosity. Never allow red pill experience and knowledge to paint another picture of living with a woman or marrying a woman. It'll ultimately fail you. My female friend said she states women just want to vent their men, not hear solutions. Yeah, there's only one thing you can say to a woman. She's like, you're such an asshole, Mr. You just say, I can't imagine what you're going through. It's got to be tough. That's all you can say. It's wrong for men to fight over them too. My 84-year-old mother asked me who hurt you last week, and I said, if you ask that, they'll say family prejudice courts. That's a great reply to your mother, John. 58, good. I just played guitar this morning, or actually a couple hours ago. Learn to play. I taught myself guitar, guys. Easy to teach, even with technology. You get an app on your phone that'll tune it, teach you the chords. Start little, play some AC/DC. Sam says, don't lower yourself to their level. Well said. Karma is a strong word, but I believe in people getting what they deserve. It'll come around. Energy is always following where it's been discarded. Slam's seen a lot of metal. I think Slam likes a lot of the yelling metal. Most of the RD creators listened to when I first started my journey in 2020. I no longer listen to because most of them are stuck in the RP rage. Yeah, that's another thing. We learned that rage is not going to help us. It's important to let it go. It's let it out. We will all have that. If anyone's listening that's going through rage, it's okay. Don't let the rage steer you. She's not my girl. That's not my girl. She's different. She loves me, Radical. Allocation of investments, time in the market is more important than timing in the markets. Well said, Carl. Well said. Do not time the markets. You will lose. I always hated that. I don't want to listen to someone complain about problems they don't expect me to solve. Yeah. The female, not the male, determines all the conditions of the animal family where the female can derive no benefit. That is exactly what we're talking about, Brandon. What if I told you that there will be a MGTOW meetup on my 50th? Send out the invitation. We'll go. Men always wanted to feel needed. You have to get over that. Yes. And validated. Men love to feel validated and appreciated. You have to get rid of that. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, you're still good. That's the whole idea of detachment, Buddhism. Detaching from the outcome. Nice guys are the worst guys out there because they expect validation. They crave it. When they don't get it, they implode. Never argue with a lady. I am proud despite marriage. I only talk logic, no emotion. Well said. I wish more guys knew that, Mayor. Have you ever watched your own classic shows, which is me asking you about Superman? I do watch my old videos. I'll go through them. Like, I can't believe I said that. She's not yours. It's just your turn. How would you break down the RP journey? Exactly what you said. Rage, understand it, accept it. Or accept it, then understand it. But very similar. Love getting up at the crack of dawn for my coffee. Coffee for 300, Trebek. Those were the days. Shadow Fall. I remember that band. Man, I met some high-powered liberal women this week while traveling like a high-powered female judge, CPA. Were they traveling with guys, John? Death metal. That's one. It's Cannibal Corpse and Obituary. What about Exodus? Never collected comic books. I had a stamp collection though. You ever watch the Whatever podcast? Talk about Red Pill Suppository. I've seen it. I'm not a big fan of bringing all these same women on and trying to tell them that they're 304. I don't know. I'm over that. Like there's value to it, but I watch your guys' channels a lot. I comment on most of them. And if I don't comment or you don't see me, I'm probably lurking in it. I'll keep a lot of True Bloods stream on in the background. What woman would you marry at this age? I don't think I'd marry. I would never marry again. Hell no. We'll have a guys' night out. First round's on me. Exodus is thrash metal. Yeah, Slayer, Exodus, those guys back in the day. Death metal. I mean, remember when Avenged Sevenfold came out and everybody thought those guys were gnarly? I remember Kirk Hammett from Metallica was in Exodus. They would advertise in Thrasher magazines back in the day, their new albums. I just saw that Mathis. He's trying to get her back. 39 years now. Good luck, man. Once she says she's done, she's done. The only reason she comes back is to reset to get even more money. That's the only reason a woman will come back. She's going to reset the game. And it's going to be more dangerous the second time around. It might be a dude. It's like the hot, crazy Matrix. But we've learned a lot. We've learned to let go. We've learned to accept things. We've learned that control is, you can't control anybody. You can't control your kids. You got to be Teflon. You got to let things bounce off you. You can't control what the judge is going to say. You hope for the best. You get a good attorney. You keep your nose clean. Interesting. The CPA, Chad, the hubby was around the corner. Most marriages are pathetic. They really are. Most of them don't talk to one another. It's just the routine of it. Dream Theater. I remember those guys, Mega. I love metal, open to lots of sounds, but I like Metallica and Pantera. What about Sepultura from Brazil? They always come back. The trick is not to open. No, we never take them back. Taking them back is eating thrown out garbage from the week before, thinking it'll taste just as good. Pantera would be death metal. Is that what you're saying? Or Panthers? I also think I might have bumped into Tanya Harding. Oh, I bet you did. I remember seeing her ice skate at the Lloyd Center back in the day in high school. And right after high school. My brother is blue pill as hell. Even he said about his son, well, at least he married into a rich family. He was so close, but couldn't see the hypocrisy about it. There's a lot of blue pill. That's what I've learned. I've learned that you can't really influence blue pilled friends. And they're difficult. And I've learned that you're going to lose a lot of friends on this journey. They just don't bring the value that you're seeking in your life as your purpose. I feel bad for my miserable married friends and those that get back into it really quickly because they have all of the knowledge because of their first marriage told them what to do and what not to do. Now, we don't change, folks. We just improve little by little. Remember that. Pantera, Dimebag Darrell. Sepultura from Brazil. I was doing some hiking in the gorge last week. Oh, where'd you go? Did you go out by John Day or by Hood River? My first anniversary, my ex and I stayed in the Hood River Motel. It was a great little place. Had a 7-course breakfast and good times. Pantera in the earlier years were more glam. They did change their sound a little, didn't they? So did Slayer when Rick Rubin came about. The Tanya Harding movie was interesting. I saw it. Talk about competitive. I mean, women are competitive with one another. They hate each other. Nailbomb was also from Brazil. If Bob's listening, Polska, lip cream. from Japan was a metal band. Lip Cream. Who said the truth shall set you free? Great question. Somebody. We've learned the government is not on our side, now even more. Left or right, it makes no difference. They're all controlled. That, yes, is truth. You hiked Eagle Creek? I did Eagle Creek. I did a 7-day trip up. No, it was a 3-day from Boy Scouts. Love that place. Hopefully you didn't fall off. There on 48 Hours did a show on Eagle Creek about a guy that pushed his girlfriend off the cliff. Or the girl. Yeah, he pushed the girlfriend off. Go look it up. 48 Hours, Eagle Creek. El Padrino from Chicago. Good to see you, brother. I know I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you are well. Judas Priest, Scorps, Van Halen, Ozzy saw in the 80s. What would it have been like to see Van Halen like on their Diver Down tour? Or like early Judas Priest? You guys are getting in some crazy bands, y'all. Zakk Wylde. Yeah. A lot of thrash punk. Grew up with a lot of punk and hardcore. But that's the reality. I mean, we learn to let go. We learn to accept. If there's two things I would tell everybody and my boys, you have to accept what life brings to you. You have to accept it. Now you can change. I mean, you can maneuver differently, but if life brings something to you that you weren't expecting, you can't push it away. You accept it. You figure out a way through it or outside of it. Number two, you cannot control others. To give up control is to gain control. True blood. I was thinking Jesus said that. Black Label Society. Look at you guys. The Gathering, a Dutch 90s progressive metal. Who's going to say Rammstein? To house. I would like to do the Pacific Crest Trail. I was thinking about that the other day. I could probably do it because I'm an empty nester. Or the Appalachian Trail. I would think going to Mexico to Canada would be great. Takes 4.5 months? You start in April, March, April, end up through like September, October. Maybe it's 6 months. Working a lot. 7% of the debt I dealt with today came from the woman that do not accept accountability. Your story sounds like mine. Yeah, but we can build back better. Can't we? And you can't unsee how effed up society is. Yes. Once you digest, I'm not saying take the pill. You got to digest it. Most of the guys that come to Red Pill, I have seen so many guys come and go from my channel that were very, very participatory. I don't know what happened to them. Maybe they graduated. Maybe they're totally doing good, or maybe they went back to plantation. But the reality is this. Once you know what you know, you can't go back. Once you digest the pill, you cannot undigest it. Jeez. Why are guys doing that, Nick? First question I would ask a woman I meet the first time, do you have any pending debt? Second question is, what's your relationship like with your dad? He's an asshole. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Have you seen what's his name? Rob Halford. He's got a bull ring in his nose now. Come on. Saw that the other day. I was like, yeah. Metallica loves Judas Priest. I think Guns N' Roses, that's like their favorite band. And another thing you learn is one can listen to all these videos and channels and agree with them, but it is a slippery slope to take the pill and to digest it and to live it. Now, I am not a monk, but I do not believe in marriage, cohabitation, goofy chemicals we label as stupid words, or taking on specific resources of people. If you do want to hang out with a lady, I'm not saying to hang out with a lady. This is not a dating show. But do it the Jonathan Noble way. Separate houses, separate resources, come together, enjoy each other's company, go back to your life. Why don't more men find the red pill? fear, programming. It can save life or make a man bitter. Well, we've seen it. We've seen both ways. It can make you upset, or it can give you ultimate freedom in the end. Right? We take our glasses off, our rose-colored glasses, and we realize that we were lied to. Or, well, I wouldn't call it lied. Programming Shanghaied us. Turd Ferguson, good to see you. And again, and Seraphim hits it on the head. You got to be ready. If you're not ready for it, this sounds like angry man talk. Appreciate that. Appreciate you for being here, Turd Ferguson. Black Pill Neo, good to see you, brother. I can't go back to that. The red pill introduced me to MGTOW life, and I'm good where I am. If a guy really accepts that, El Padrino, he has a good life. He's beginning to build a peaceful, quiet, happy life. 80% of women hold the college debt. They sure do. 63% of all college enrollees are women. Most will fight to defend the system. And it's all programming. It really goes back to programming. No marriage, no cohab, no new kid saves you from any usury and unindentured servitude. Yeah. And we have monks here. We have hitter and quitters. But be careful. Whatever brings you peace, quiet, and freedom is what you should seek. I think having no friends is worse than not having a steady love. That's another thing. What else have we learned? That loneliness is a societal programming technique to make men feel worse about themselves because nobody's around to validate them. Well, I'm going to give you some word of advice. The majority of people will not validate you anyways. So it's, in the end, having people around doesn't really make you less lonely. Good to see Men's Daily Advice, brother. He makes some good content too. He's been around for a while. Will Murphy, divorce, alimony, and child support is just a wealth transfer. Almost all debt is from the ladies. A lot of them, they spend a lot. A lot of men who have taken the red pill have fallen into depression and are stuck in a red pill rage. Well said, Marvel Leak. Good to have you. A lot of them can't handle the truth. It's difficult. They can't get out of the rage. A lot of guys hold on to the blue pill dream, which is bullshit. They hold on to the fantasy, the curiosity of the fantasy. When a woman that looks like the villain from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom has an entitled mindset, it is crazy. Yeah. Freedom is undervalued. And I think Big World's over there in Da Nang. See you later, Brandon. There's a lot of freedom in living in countries like that when you don't need a ton of wealth. I am in aftercare of my journey, peace in my way. There you go, brother. A lot of us go through different. I mean, as Stephen said, there's a specific, we all go through rage, anger, upsetness, being like, oh man, society lied to us. Programming. I don't know if society lied to us. We just stayed in the programming matrix too long. Then we get out of it, and then, yeah, it's difficult. We gotta make a decision. We either stay with the blue pill or we stay with the red pill. You can't just hold on to blue pill and believe in red pill. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a purple pill. Purple pillars are blue pillars, basically, right? I love not being tied down by a relationship or tied bound by the pressure of feeling a certain way. I'm all about freedom at this point. Freedom to do what I want to do and them to do what they want to do. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not 22 years old anymore with having no experience and have so much curiosity in life. I know in the 52 years I've been around, well, probably since the age of 9 or 10, really. I don't really remember anything before 5 years old. But you begin to see things differently, especially if you go through what we've gone through. Jason Reed from Colorado, women are out of control spenders and they want to make one president. Heels Up Harris for 300, Trebek. Apparently she's got a new accent. But the expose of what we're seeing now, and what else have we learned? We've learned that you give enough rope to a lady, she'll go on a video and melt down. You begin to see the red flags. You don't even have to ask for them. You see them. You hear them. You experience them. They're out of control spenders. They sure are. Mayor says biology is so powerful. Yeah, it blinds us. It's truly a blinding. It's a blocker for real, and which is normal. Testosterone is raging. It's like pure gasoline running through your vehicle, and it is powerful, and it explodes when the match hits it. That's what you learn later in life. You learn about crazy. You might not know about crazy before that. J Lo's looking for her next guy. Good for Ben Affleck. He was an idiot for marrying her, anyways. But he probably realized this chick is just delusional. Radical Rafter. That is what I ask my friends all the time. If they didn't have their genitalia, would we even hang out with them? Maybe if they made us lunch. The free man is not well liked by society. Correct. John, there is a major problem in Denver. Yes. Tren de Aragua. I actually stayed when I was in Venezuela in the state of Aragua. It's like a state like Illinois. Do you want to do what you want to do and how you want to do it without asking for it? It's just freedom, man. I mean, freedom from going through what you want to go. You know, people say, oh, Rad, you're bitter and hurt. Who hurt you? Oh, she did a number on you. Yeah, at one point. Not anymore. It's been a long time. I can walk away from anything and I'm fine. I can walk away from my kid. You know, we did that Gone with John event. We talk about toxic children. I walked away. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. I'm doing great, guys. Playing with gasoline. I accept what life throws at me, but I can also accept different ways of maneuvering through it as well, right? J Lo. I wonder what her vagina looks like at this point. She still looks pretty good for her age, but still, she's been ran through. I blame God for that. He gave me a pack and a brain and not enough blood to make them work. He did. Bad guy for life. Better be married to yourself instead of being on a leash. Relationships with women are irritating, especially if you let her have her own way. Well, that's the thing. I mean, marry yourself, love yourself, fall in love with yourself. I do believe in love. It's loving yourself. JR says, cat people, David Bowie. He went out too early. Yes. Danger is just a state of mind. Obviously, going to Rio de Janeiro is one thing, but going south, like to Sao Paulo, a little bit southern, Fortaleza would be good. Good to see Joseph Hoffman in the chat. Yeah, I'm not scared to try. I wouldn't go to Venezuela or North Korea or like Pakistan or any of those sketchy areas, but South America, you're pretty good. I mean, depends where you go. You want to stay off the radar in a lot of these places. My memory sharp from 78. Good for you. I got a couple memories like 5 years, 6 years old. Nothing can escape the wall, brother. Nothing can escape the wall. Well, guys, this has been a great little 5-year anniversary stream. I appreciate all you good men, and if there's any good ladies that listen. We do have a couple ladies in our chat. We have Lisa Smith, she's been on the channel for probably 5 years. We got a gal in Mexico. She's worried about her boys. We've got Nino. We've got a couple other folks. But yeah, like 3% of my viewers are women. So that's what, 30 women that subscribe to this channel. Probably some good, some bad. But I appreciate their perspectives too, especially if they're raising boys and they see the modern day 304. Yeah, Gone with John and Hammerhand. Good listening to their story. Well, Hammer went through a difficult time growing up, man. But, you know, he came through it. It took him a while, but he came through it. Sometimes you got to walk away from your mother. Well said, Nick. Yeah. Thanks, Mayor, for that compliment. Have a great day. The ladies are great. The ladies are great here. They sure are. Some of them have been good. We've had a couple gals that are wacko. Some come and go, but you know what? I think they're curious about this. I think some of them have seen the reality of in their gender. We're going to keep going, JR, that's for sure. We'll keep going. You guys, great. Go have a great evening. We'll see you on the next one. I'm out. Catch Gone with John in the next 50 minutes. Check ya. Peace.